For many of us, talking on the telephone is something we take for granted. However, for over 48,000 citizens in Escambia County alone, assistance is needed, and the Florida Telecommunications Relay, Inc. can help. The Florida Relay Service is the communications link for people who have hearing loss and speech disabilities. Here to tell us more about the service and how to get it is local program coordinator Randy Hunsucker. Randy, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, it's a great program. We were talking earlier. We think everybody probably has had some personal connection to someone that has not been able to talk on the telephone quite like most of us can. Well, first of all, just what is Florida Relay? Give us a brief overview, then we'll get into some of the particulars.
I will. As a result of the Americans with Disability Act, the state of Florida passed TASA, T-A-S-A, that's Telecommunication Access System something.
Okay.
I'll think of authority or whatever. I think of it. Anyway, through that, the Florida Telecommunication Relay Incorporated was assigned by the Public Service Commission to administer the program. And what it boils down to is if you are a legal resident of the state of Florida, you're over the age of 3 years old, and you can prove that you have a hearing and/or sight disability, Florida will provide you with a device for communication, a telephone.
That's a great service. So how does it work?
It's quite simple in process. You go to, if you're visiting a doctor, general practitioner, audiologist, someone of that nature, they can certify you as having a hearing disability. If not, you can come to our office. We can give you what is known as a 5-minute hearing test. It's actually a series of 15 questions, and it does take literally about 5 minutes to do. Questions like, do you have trouble hearing over the telephone? Do you have trouble understanding conversation in a crowded room, or if more than 1 or 2 people are talking? Those types of things. It's scored, and if you reach a score of 10 or above, then you qualify. As an example, I would have no trouble scoring 10 or above to some of those questions. And so having done that, prove that you're a Florida resident by driver's license or a Florida certification, ID card, a number of acceptable means, then we can issue a telephone. And you use it.
Sounds easy enough. And we are showing on the screen throughout our conversation your address, name of the company, phone number, and all that information. But you brought a phone with you here today, and this looks fairly typical of a normal telephone. So how does the actual relay system work?
Well, first, this is a normal telephone with added amplification built in. You have a volume control plus an amplifier button. So when you're on the phone, you can adjust that without even having to just tell your caller what you're doing. And if it's still real low, for instance, if you and I were talking to someone and then we handed the phone to our mother and our mother was talking to that person could hear, they could hit the amplifier button, make it a little louder for them. Now, the relay is 711 relay. It is an awesome service. There are phones that we can provide that are VCO or voice carryover phones. What that means is you have a video screen of sorts, you have a data screen here, and the person who has the hearing problem can read what the caller is saying and then respond orally.
Okay.
And 711 is a third party that is involved in the conversation. And what's so nice about it, a lot of people see certain commercials on television with CapTel or something. CapTel's a beautiful service, but there's a lot of numbers that you have to dial just to make contact. In Florida, you dial 711 and you say, I need to call such and such at this phone number. They are a VCO user. And operator calls it. It's total confidentiality, and it's a wonderful service. And the most difficult thing, which is very simple to do, is for the user to realize they have to pause just a moment, let the person read.
Well, that sounds pretty easy, and 711 is very easy to remember. People are used to 911 and the 211 service we hope to have soon in this area. But now this is, someone is actually listening and typing. This is not a voice recognition software.
That is the distinguishing factor between Florida's 711 relay and CapTel. CapTel is voice recognition, but it's not what it implies. What's literally happening is someone in Wisconsin is listening to your phone call and relating verbatim into the voice recognition. And with us having Southern accent and them not, sometimes things don't
always
come out
quite the same. Well, you know, and one huge aspect of this is the socialization factor.
Sure.
What do y'all find as far as comments or feedback about the impact on people's lives?
As a brief example, I can tell you, relate to you a situation I had in my office just last week. A lady came in. I tried her on this XL40, which is an amplified phone. It became immediately obvious that she just could not hear. She couldn't distinguish language. She couldn't distinguish syllables. So going to a higher amplification would have done no good. What I did was put her on a VCO phone. And I explained to her how it works. I dialed 711. They called her in my office. I stepped out in the hall, was walking around talking to her and asking her, do you understand me? Oh, yes, I understand you fine. Do you know what the weather's like outside? Well, it was beautiful. Now, a little bit of a delay because it has to be typed. She has to read it, and then she responds. When I walked back into my office to ask her what she thought, the expression on her face was priceless. For the first time, she understood a phone conversation. She said her sister calls her all the time, and she gets so frustrated, she has to give the phone to her husband because she just can't understand. And now she can understand the phone call. To me, that's priceless.
That is priceless, and that's what it's about, is improving quality of life, and this is a great education. Well, is there any cost associated with signing up for this program or for the equipment?
No, sir, there is not. Actually, all of us in the state of Florida who have a landline pay 11 cents per bill, and that supports the telecommunication program, FDRI program. So we hesitate to say the phone is free. What I like to say is the phone is issued to you at no added expense.
So again, priceless and priceless information.
You meet the 3 categories, we'll hand you a phone. You can go home today and use it.
Great, Randy. Thank you for being here. That is great information, and I bet your phone will be ringing.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay.